Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to the Raging Introvert. And today we're gonna do a little something different. I feel bad for picking on CNN all the time. It's not really a challenge. Everyone knows CNN is garbage. So figured I'd go to Fox News here. And Fox News, as a major media source, can be just as biased and ridiculous as CNN or any other mainstream news organization. So Texas holds first 2018 primary amid surge of Democratic voters, is the article, a couple days ago. And the headline's pretty straightforward and unbiased, although it kind of hints that the Democrats should be happy with the results, that it forebodes well for them in the future. So let's see if that's the case. Let's see. First primary in the nation kicked off on Tuesday. Record turnout for Democrats. And the primaries are being looked at as both a bellwether for the rest of the nation and Texas. A sign the red state of Texas, could be turning purple more quickly than expected. Which I've heard for the last several election cycles that Texas, this election, Texas is going to turn purple. No, the next election, this election, they're turning blue. This time it's going to happen. So once again, we're seeing this perennial prediction that Texas this time, the signs are there that it's going to start changing and be the great Democratic hope. This paragraph's interesting. Quote, what these primaries really boiled down to is one issue: Trump versus anti-Trump. Cal Jilson, a political science professor, told Fox News, quote, there is relatively little talk about the issues for either party. It's a race to the margins. Democrats are all against the president, while with Republicans it's about staying close to Trump and whether that hurts or helps them, end quote. So basically, that sounds like it's the 2016 presidential election again. Not a lot of talk about the issues, especially from the left. Instead, it's Trump is evil and we hate him, and the Republicans trying to figure out if they're going to stay close to Trump or how close to Trump should they stand, and what would be most advantageous for them. And we all saw how 2016 turned out for the Republicans and the Democrats. Republicans did pretty well. So if that's what this election is boiling down to, Democrats should be the one who are worried, not the Republicans. It says Trump has been tweeting in support of some people. Fine. Even Texas Land Commissioner George Bush. So they're talking about an establishment person getting Trump's endorsement. So they're trying to make a little bit of a point out of that. It doesn't really matter too much. This paragraph, though, unlike some of the other incumbents who are expected to win easily in their primary, Bush is facing a tough battle against his predecessor in the land office, Jerry Patterson. A recent University of Texas Tribune poll found that when voters were allowed to be undecided, Bush mustered only 36% of the vote in his race. Now, first of all, when it comes to the actual election, they don't get to be undecided, or they just don't vote, and they don't count at all. So allowing people to declare themselves as being undecided in an election only introduces volatility. It doesn't really give a good prediction about what's going to happen. But this number here looks pretty bad. If the incumbent, Bush, is only garnering 36% of the vote, you would assume that his opponent, Jerry Patterson, must be getting quite a bit more. Let's take a look and see. Now, this is cheating a bit because it'll show the actual results, but we saw it was Bush versus Patterson. Let's come down here and see. Wait. It's Bush versus Patterson and Edwards and Range. There's actually 4 candidates splitting the vote. So suddenly, when you go back and look at the CNN article, if it said Bush mustered only 36% of the vote in a 4-person race, suddenly the perspective changes. That's more than a third of the total votes. That's pretty good in a 4-person race. But that's not what they want to emphasize here. The goal is to make it look like Bush is in trouble, the establishment is in trouble, and Trump has to come in and give his support to back an establishment candidate, when in fact that's not the case at all. As we can see from the actual results, Bush won with 58% of the vote. So this article by Fox is just trying to make it look like there's an issue and make news when really there's nothing going on, and it's easy Texas politics as usual. And that's what this next paragraph talks about. Remains to be seen whether a Trump endorsement will hurt or help. Well, we saw Bush won, so it must have helped. It puts the politician in a strained situation as he tries to merge the backing of anti-establishment president with that of his storied political family. It's Bush is the strongest candidate. He wants Bush to win because he wants Republicans to win. It's not a major issue there. Yes, this chart talks about Bush trying to become anti-establishment, which is very difficult for him. That's true. Yes, despite all the stuff about a blue wave and people saying that Trump has issues in the Republican Party, 83% of Texas Republicans support Bush or Trump. That's good. Here's the just random fear quote thrown in. Not even a quote. It just says, experts say Republicans will need a big turnout if the party hopes to counter the groundswell of interest for Democrats. So again, we see historically every election cycle they talk about Texas being this is the one where Texas will turn blue and Republicans need to be careful. And every time those hopes are quashed, and yet here we see it again. Republicans need to have a big turnout if they hope to counter this groundswell. Let's see what evidence they support or they show to support this. A major increase in primary voters from 2014, which was a previous high. Okay, let's see how 2014 turned out for everybody. Let's see, 2014, Texas statewide candidate for Senate won with over 60% of the vote, so that went pretty well for the Republicans. Governor won with 59.3% of the vote, over 20 points ahead of his Democratic candidate. So that didn't go too well for the Democrats. And we can look here at this map. Aside from a couple major urban areas and the South, Texas looks pretty red. Now, really what you'd be looking for here, and we'll scroll through quickly, is how close were the elections. There's a lot of gerrymandering. So were there any very close elections where Republicans barely lost in 2014 that could have been because of some surge of interest? No, that's a 55-point spread. No. 2/3. That's they only won by 25 points there. No, and look, you can see the gerrymandering works both ways. 90% to 9% in the Democratic district. Not close. No. Oh. So here's a place where the Republican lost by 11 points. I don't know if that's because of an increase in turnout. That seems pretty substantial. Still, I would not call that a close election. No. So as we go through here, you can see, this one's close. The Republican won by 2.1%, and this is in the 2014 where there was a major surge of voting, which they imply in the Fox article that should have been supporting the Democrats. So no, this is not an issue. There's enough gerrymandering going around. There are not very many competitive districts. And a surge in turnout, previously mentioned, did not help the Democrats. Oh, and here, early numbers also indicate for the first time since 2008, more Texas Democrats will vote in their primary than Republicans. Okay, let's see how 2008 turned out for the Democrats. Let's see, 2008, well, John McCain beat Barack Obama in the election in Texas, and he won by almost 12 points, so that's pretty handy. Senate statewide, Cornyn won. He won by about 12 points, pretty handy. And then we can go through here and look again. Are there any really close elections that were on the knife edge that Democrats won or Republicans barely won? Nope. 20-point lead there. No, the Republican only won this election by 13 points. Ooh, this is closer. Only won by 10 points there. So no. In 2008, the same deal. There's enough gerrymandering going around that these are not competitive districts. And in this primary surge election, once again, it didn't matter. Quote, this Democratic surge looks really impressive. Having Democratic turnout surpass Republicans is a big deal in Texas and should have the GOP scared, except for the fact that previous surges in turnout and primary elections have meant nothing. Republicans have held on securely to their position. So even though it looks impressive, it's only the surface, and it's not going to matter. In fact, the person I just quoted, Gilson, some political strategist, noted the surge in Democrats voting will likely not be enough to turn the state blue, as incumbent Republicans, both in national and statewide races, are unlikely to be toppled. So what the hell's the point of this article? Fox, just like any other media source, is in the business of news. Now, news should mean providing new information, something that's come out. However, if there's not a lot of new information coming out, you have to generate news, make something that sounds new and interesting. So we had a Texas primary election. Oh, there are some interesting statistical anomalies in there, with Democrats showing more interest in the primary than Republicans. Well, let's try to make that sound important by talking all up in here about how it's new, how it's exciting, and how it could serve as a bellwether for the national elections coming up and for the state of Texas as well. We'll have all this stuff up here about it, and at the very end, we'll have a quick little note saying that realistically, it's unlikely that any of this is going to matter. The Republicans are going to win, and this whole article is a waste of time to read. But we'll put that at the bottom so you actually read the article instead of saving yourself the trouble. The Democratic surge will show some results, but not enough to flip the state, Gilson said. They're on a slow march. The slow march, I would add, that has been going on for a decade or two, that has been very slow because they keep losing despite promising that they're going to win eventually. But unless the GOP fumbles this election really badly, Texas will not turn blue. Well, there you go. Thanks for wasting everybody's time with your worthless article. There's fake news, and then there's just manufactured news. It's not even news. It's just manufactured circular talking to get clicks because it looks, something new. The Democrats they might win in Texas. It could be a harbinger of the future. No, it's nothing. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you think. But garbage in the media goes for all sites, not just the super left like CNN.